Alright, anime fans, today we will talk about anime Needless. This is one of those anime that doesn't even pretend to be normal. And honestly, that's its biggest strength. At first glance, it looks like pure chaos, over-the-top characters, ridiculous powers, and moments that make you go like, what the hell am I watching? But the more you watch, the more you realize this insanity is intentional. It's loud, it's messy, it's sometimes downright stupid, but it's also incredibly entertaining in a way most safe anime just aren't. So the story takes place after a massive war that leaves parts of the world destroyed, creating these zones called black spots, where society dumps the unwanted. Inside these areas, people known as Needless develop supernatural abilities, basically turning them into living weapons. The plot follows Adam Blade, a self-proclaimed priest, as he protects a young boy named Cruz, while going up against a powerful organization exploiting these abilities. On paper, it sounds like a standard protect the kid, fight the bad guys setup, but the way the story unfolds is chaotic, unpredictable, and filled with moments that completely flip expectations. The world building is where this anime stands out. The world of Needless is built on the aftermath of a devastating war that literally reshaped society. Massive contaminated zones called black spots are created, places where the government dumps everything it doesn't want, including people. These areas become lawless, dangerous, and forgotten, creating a clear divide between the privileged outside world and the survivors inside. Inside these black spots, radiation leads to the birth of Needless, humans with supernatural abilities who are feared, exploited, or hunted. Instead of being accepted, they're treated like experiments or weapons, especially by powerful organizations trying to control them. This creates a world where survival isn't just about strength, but about avoiding being used or destroyed. What makes the world building interesting is how it mixes a dark concept with a chaotic tone. You've got a setting that's actually pretty brutal and messed up, but it's presented through exaggerated characters and insane situations. That contrast makes the world feel unique. It's not just another post-apocalyptic setting. It's one that doesn't take itself too seriously while still hinting at a darker reality underneath. And honestly, that's what makes it stand out. The world is broken, unfair, and kind of cruel. But instead of being depressing all the time, it turns that chaos into something wild and entertaining. The characters in Needless are not subtle. They're loud, exaggerated, and sometimes completely ridiculous. But that's exactly what makes them stand out. Adam Blade is the perfect example. One second he's this badass fighter pulling off insane moves, and the next he's acting like a complete idiot. The supporting cast follows the same pattern, each bringing their own chaotic energy, weird quirks, and unique abilities. They're not deeply complex in a traditional sense, but they're memorable, and their chemistry keeps the show constantly entertaining. Now let's talk about the action. The fights in Needless are where things go completely off the rails, in a good way. The abilities are flashy, exaggerated, and sometimes, honestly, it feels like they exist just to look cool instead of following any strict logic. But instead of holding back, the anime totally embraces that chaos, making every fight feel unpredictable. You're not really watching for tactical depth here. You're watching to see what insane move or ridiculous moment happens next, and somehow it just works. Coming to animation and music. Visually, Needless isn't the most polished anime out there, but it captures the energy of the fights well enough to keep things engaging. The animation might not always be super smooth, but it's expressive. And honestly, that matters more for a show like this. The music fits the chaos perfectly, flipping between hype and absurd tones, depending on the moment. It might not be unforgettable, but it definitely does its job in keeping the momentum going. Now coming to the themes. Underneath all the madness, Needless actually touches on themes like discrimination, survival, and the divide between the powerful and the discarded. The black spots represent a society that throws away its undesirables, which adds a darker layer to the story. But instead of focusing purely on that seriousness, the anime mixes it with humor and absurdity, creating a strange balance. It's not deeply philosophical, but there's enough there to give the chaos some meaning. Needless stands out because it doesn't try to fit into a mold. It does its own thing, no matter how weird it gets. In a world full of anime trying to be polished and perfect, this one feels raw and unpredictable. If you enjoy anime that are fast-paced, ridiculous, and don't take themselves too seriously, this is a solid pick. It's not about perfection, it's about pure entertainment. Needless is chaotic, over the top, and sometimes completely absurd, but that's exactly why it works. It doesn't try to be something it's not, and that honesty makes it refreshing. It may not be a masterpiece, but it's memorable, fun, and unapologetically insane. And sometimes, that's exactly what you need. That's it for today. Share your thoughts in the comments, like and subscribe if you liked the video, and stay tuned for more anime content. And I'll catch you in the next one.